PX500 has diagnostics also available on board. The status LEDs, and you also have the optional LED one that can be used. All diagnostics routines within the LCD1 are built into the controller's firmware. Information on this can be found on the troubleshooting and diagnostics reference document located on the Carry Door CD or on Carry's website at www.assist.com. D1 shown here is a small liquid crystal display that plugs directly onto the PXL 500. D1, a hot swappable device. So you plug it into the PXL 500 and double-click on the S1 button. So we set the LCD1, and you can now access different areas of your diagnostics. The LCD1 will show you your firmware revision, current time and date of the controller, perform various diagnostics tests. With PXL 500P board, you access a test that will test the signal quality of your readers. There is also the ability to test the inputs on the PXL 500 to verify that your inputs are being triggered properly. This test is available on the satellite board, S593. One button until the text test appears. Double-click and you will enter into the diagnostics section of the LCD1. Want to step through the individual test. When the desired test is shown, go ahead and double-click on it and you will be entered to that specific test. Here, showing the Carry Systems receiver test, this is on a PXL 500P, will allow you to measure the signal quality of that particular reader. Readout is in millivolts. It will show you the rate of that particular reader. A rate 500 through about 1,000 millivolts, indication of a decent signal. Anything of this indicates that you're having some interference brought in by some electromagnetic source. Lower than that may indication of a low signal and poor read range. Testing the inputs, LCD1, you'll see that you have your auxiliary RTE as well as your door switch. Here, when they are triggered. Toggle the various inputs to validate that the inputs are working properly. The test is complete. Go ahead and remove the LCD1 and move on to the next test. Just toggle to exit, double-click on it, hit it, double-click it, and you're done, and move on to the next board. There are LEDs located throughout the controller as well to provide some status. You have your power fuse, you have status which show you whether you have over or under voltage coming to your controller. You have your various communication LEDs as well as your relay status LEDs. On the PXL 500W, you have your Wiegand reader voltage LED. When the power fuse, the fuse LED is lit, there is a problem. You want to make sure that the LED1 is off at all times. If it is red, you have a possible short, or it's reversed on the power connector. If it is green, it is indicating that there is excessive current being drawn through the board and danger of overheating. An indication of a short, usually on the reader. So you see this green LED, go ahead and remove power, and you may need to let the board rest so that the thermal fuse located at the back of the board is cooled off and thus opens the circuit again. The bar on the hand side not only is address, but will indicate a problem when there is over or under voltage. You come to a controller and it's flickering, something like 14.5 or 10.5, 10.0, 9, 0, and 5. This indication that you have a power issue. The LED, the power LED, will also be red, indicating that there is a problem. Come up to a controller that is flickering random numbers. Take a look and see what the voltage is. Those random numbers are actually showing you the voltage that the controller is detecting. On the hand portion of the controller, you have two LEDs labeled TXD and RXD. These are your RS2 LEDs. When you have a valid connection to a COM port or modem, both of these LEDs will be green. When they're being transferred, you will see these LEDs flicker. One or both of these are off on your controller. There is a problem with your communication line or no connection whatsoever. LEDs are not valid when using the LAN 520. LED number 9, just of your address display. This is your 485 communications LED. This will be flickering on your controllers when there's communication going back and forth over the 485 line. You also have your lock and alarm LEDs. Lock LED will be lit when the relay is active and off when it is idle. This is for LED number 7, your alarm LED. When your alarm relay is triggered, this LED will light up green. If you're having an issue, perhaps your reader is beeping, if you look at your controller, you may notice that your alarm LED may be on, indicating that you may have a problem. Your door sense input on that particular door, if you're using a door contact. Very hand corner, you have your RS485 LEDs that are used to determine your wire integrity. I like to use this to indicate that there is communications back and forth through the controller. These LEDs do not always blink when there is valid communication. Always refer to the LED 9 located down here. These LEDs are used for testing your 485 wiring. When jumper and the first two pins, it'll light up your line 1 on your master controller and all other controllers down line. It can only be performed from the master controller. It's a very invasive test and may completely stop any kind of 485 communications. And in a worst case scenario, you may have to RAM reset your master in order to regain 485 communications again. But if you're in a problem with your 485 and you need to test your lines, easily done by setting the jumper to pins 1 and 2, and you'll be able to test one part of the 485 line. LEDs on line 1 will light up. If the reverse wire, the LED would light up and will be very visible, easily diagnosed. The same for the second line. If you put your jumper on pin 2 and 3, it up line number 2, be a green LED. If you look down line on all your controllers and you have all green LEDs, everything is fine. If you have a red LED showing line 1, know you have a wire reversed. Perhaps a broken wire if no LEDs are lit. Last at the bottom on the PXL 500, if you're using a PXL 500W board, the Wiegand board, you can determine whether your reader is working properly or not. If it's a 12-volt reader, this LED should be on. Sometimes we will get calls here at Cary when a reader is not functioning properly. We come and take a look, and the jumper is actually set to 5 volts. The reader is set as a 12-volt reader. Simply bring down, resetting the jumper, and putting it back to 12 volts. This will help at least see if you have the correct voltage applied to the reader. board, there are 6 LEDs available to you for diagnosing as well. On the satellite board, you will have a power LED and a communications LED to show that there is communication between the PXL and the satellite board. There are also 4 LEDs located on top here to show the status of your relays. One more.